Hello, I'm Scott DuPont with another episode of Finance Your Movie, sharing tips and strategies to help you fund your independent feature, documentary, short film, or web series. Our mission is to empower you to get your money to tell your story. And we are thrilled today to have the world's #1 wealth coach, man who needs no introduction, Mr. JT Foxx. But for those of you who might not seen his picture on one of the business magazines or might not have come across this incredible, I don't even know how to describe you, JT, but let's just give it a 1 minute.
World's #1 wealth and business coach, private equity investor, property investor, and best-selling author. But just an entrepreneur that always trying to become better, trying to take these ideas, these visions, and turn them into reality. Kind of like what you do. Everyone has so many great ideas out there that if they were just all funded, the world would be a better place. But unfortunately, some people work a little bit harder or know the right people like yourself.
I feel like a slacker sometimes when I wake up at 4:30 in the morning and I hear JT 365 that you got up 45 minutes before I did. But anyway,
I feel like I'm working harder now than I did before. And I think as I've been saying, success doesn't build character, it reveals it. This time is going to show how bad you want a project funded, how bad you want your deal done, how bad do you want it. Blaming the virus. If it's not the virus, it's I'm blaming 2008. I'm blaming 9/11. We're always blaming somebody. But to become successful, you have to create your own economy. I don't care if you're a writer, a producer, you have a movie, you have a deal. You got to fight for it. If you don't fight for it, then it's not going to happen. But more importantly, people need to realize there's no such thing as a self-made man or woman. People need people like you to get the shortcut. Most people they don't want to pay for the shortcut. They want to do it themselves, and then they realize why they never make it.
I agree. So since you probably raised more money for all your different things than 99% of people in the world, since this particular equity investment, their audience is going for movies or documentaries or web series, it's like it's a higher risk investment, right? What are some
I
of
invest in movies. I invest in movies, but I'm first in, first out. And on one hand, if this was 2, 3, 4 years ago, it was almost impossible. But people may be in a right time and a right opportunity now because everyone's dying for content. You have mainstream movies dying for content. You have Hulu, you have Netflix, Apple TV, Quibo, this and that, HBO Max. So there is a lag there of content now.
Agreed.
And now they're all competing against each other. So now these projects that were unrealistic or impossible to be done are now coming true. But I think people need a great idea, a great pitch. And, I hate to say it, but you got to go with what the trends are doing because people want sure things, even though technically they want things that are going to pull, and that's just the world we live in now. Right. And then maybe on your second, third, fifth, you can then create something you've always wanted to create it because you have the brand name and the connection. Right. So sometimes people say I have something that's never been done before. Well, that's not always the greatest because that's harder to pitch.
True. So I wish our whole audience someday can attend one of your seminars where you do a big thing. I know you're big on objection-based selling, kind of being aware.
By the way, I thought you were talking about my events with Pacino, Stallone, Schwarzenegger, Wahlberg, Brooke Shields, Charlie Sheen, Michael Douglas. I thought it was one of those events that we talk about movies. I know all these Stallone, I know all these people. I thought you'd be talking about that event. You want to talk about my wealth building event?
No, we're talking about my podcast here, and I'm with JT Foxx right now. But on the objection-based selling, which I've heard you go into quite a bit, I wish we had a lot of time here, but are there any quick words of advice you can give for people when they're pitching a potential film investor?
They need to address the objections before it happens, right? Like, how much is this going to make? What's the level of risk? What if it doesn't get made? What if it flops? And if you're transparent and you bring up every objection, because it's already hard enough as it is to pitch, because you're pitching an idea and you don't know if this idea is going to work or not. You may think it's the greatest song, the greatest movie in the world, the greatest business idea, the greatest marketing campaign, but we all know that there's no guarantee. So what the investors are looking for is an ROI, but I think more so than not, they're looking for some kind of like guarantee or stability that this is just not a pie in the sky. So your job is to probably spend more time reassuring them than selling them on the idea.
You know, I always wondered, since you're, I've seen you at some of these events. We've met several times now. You're going 12 hours, 14 hours, full tilt, and then you go back upstairs to the hotel. You've got meetings till midnight.
Usually it's not the hotel. It's to the airport to get on a plane to another city.
Yeah.
So I wish at the end of the day, go to the hotel, because that means I could actually get to bed earlier and wouldn't have to get to a hotel at 12 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. I guess mega success is one of the rare times when you're in a city for 2 or 3 days.
Right, but then you don't sleep because your brain shut down. You got the world's most successful people. The energy's off the hook. So, it just,
So what I was trying to drill down on here is, are there any, before you go into a big pitch meeting for one of your companies, if you're looking for a big chunk of money, it's a really important meeting, do you have any rituals or strategies to ramp your energy up, or to kind of get in that underdog millionaire mindset?
You gotta be in the zone, but I think the key is preparation plus practice plus visualization equals success. You better be prepared for the questions that are going to come to you, the objections. You better practice to make it natural, not sound like you're reading some cue cards and some boring slide presentation no one really wants to listen to. Got to be short and quick to the point. And then you got to visualize it. What's going to happen? Their face is going to be there. I'm going to do that. And you do those 3 things and you'll do actually well.
Excellent. A lot of people don't know, and I encourage everyone to go look up JT Foxx after this, but just a quick 30-second version of your story, and then I'm going to ask a question. You came down from Canada, $974, rusted Ford Ranger pickup truck. I actually saw the pictures of the truck. It was pretty horrific. One of the fenders looked like it was falling off. But you admitted that when you first started out trying to do your deal, that you made a bunch of mistakes and you felt like you wasted some valuable time. Two questions here. Is that the reason that you got into coaching, and why is coaching so important to you right now?
Because it's a shortcut to whatever result you're made. There's no such thing as a seven-man man or woman. Like your odds of like, I'm going to write this movie, I'm going to produce it, then I'm going to go and knock on a bunch of people. There's a shortcut. It's not what you know. It's not who you know. It's who knows you. And to be honest with you, Hollywood or the movie industry is a very insider industry. They like to work in their little, you got William Morris, you got CMA, you got people like you, and everybody has a contact to somewhere else. But to me, hey, knock, knock, hey, here's my script, doesn't work that way anymore. So people like you or me, whatever industry, we provide a shortcut to them getting where they are. So when you're penny wise and dollar foolish, that movie will never get produced. That movie will never be seen, and your chances are 1 in a million. So the idea is, if someone said to you, do this, you know what, adjust it this way, and you go in and you succeed. But this notion of, you say, well, I don't have a lot of money. Well, it's kind of like the Arnold Schwarzenegger approach. You wanted to be the best bodybuilder, hired the best coach. You wanted to be an investor, you became an investor coach, and then wanted to be not acting coach, politics. It's the same thing. Right? Same thing with Stallone. I mean, talk about taking a risk and getting people to help them write and work with them. There is no such thing as a self-made man or woman.
By the way, I've listened to almost every single podcast. I've seen a lot of interviews Arnold Schwarzenegger has done over the years, and I've never seen him be more complimentary of anyone than yourselves. I think he really complimented how you're the real deal, how you kind of...
Yeah, but I think that's before or after that. I think he's still mad at me, because the old days, we'd say like an hour for pictures, and they're like, how many? I'm like, we don't know, but we can fit 892 pictures in 1 hour. And that rule was changed after May. So I think he's still mad, but I didn't abuse.
No.
I have 897 pictures, or I have...
He never holds a grudge. So
Oh, he does. He is. Trust me, he does. He does.
hopefully not forever. So I had another interesting thing, and I kind of have a similar philosophy. I don't call it family first, but I really treasure and respect my investors who include my family members, close friends, people I've known. You talk a lot about building relationships is one of the key cores to your business. And then within your world, you call them family first, your clients. I want to talk a little bit about how building that trust, that respect can ultimately be kind of the foundation to later getting money versus just,
Well,
hey, I'm a new guy. I don't know you. You're a stranger, but give me $10,000 or give me $100,000.
people don't invest in deals anymore. First and foremost, they invest in people, at least at first. As you get bigger, they invest in opportunities. And they're buying your ability to deliver on what you say you're going to do and deliver on your brand promise. That's what they're buying.
So when you first started out, I guess you made 70,000 on that first deal. Were you spending a certain amount of time kind of building relationships and
I mean,
networking?
I didn't know what I was doing. I was throwing things against the wall and see what sticks. And then 70 turned into 110 the next deal, and then it just never stopped. But work ethic eliminates fear. The word no was just one step closer to the word yes. You can't be bothered by the word no. You can't be bothered by rejection, especially in your industry. You're going to get rejected 99 times. You just need one yes. And then once you get a yes, it gets easier to get a second, a third, a 10th, a 100th yes. That's how it works.
I can't believe you said that you're going to get rejected 99 times, because literally that's the formula that I've been telling people for 20 years is you have to
It may
reach
be
out
worse. It
to.
may be worse in your industry because it's hard.
Yeah, well,
You know what I mean?
it's very high risk. So in some cases, you've got to reach out to 100 people. 10 out of those 100 will say, okay, let me look at your film business plan. Let me consider it. Out of those 10, one or two might invest. So you nailed it right on the head.
If that.
So what do you say to someone right out of film school, or maybe it's a younger aspiring filmmaker, this is his first or second film, and he's getting a lot of no's? It's tough for a younger person, right?
I mean, I don't think age has nothing to do with it. I mean, take a look at it. You have young coaches now in the NFL. You have young directors. I think age is a number. I think it's about the willingness to succeed. How bad do you want it? When you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, when you're willing to forge ahead, you can sulk and blame everybody else or create your own opportunity. And then one day, all those rejections, you'll end up owning your own studio, your own production company, right? But here's the thing too, no one's going to give you anything. I don't care what industry it is, it's hard. What industry is easy? Whether you want to be a speaker, a coach, an entrepreneur, a property investor, every industry is competing to everyone. Doesn't matter what you are, right? You start a coffee shop, you're competing against Dunkin' Donuts and Starbucks. So, so it doesn't mean you're not going to make it. It just means you just need to outwork them all.
So you talk a lot about practice, like business practice. Can you kind of?
Yeah, I mean, the same thing. I practice sales, I practice marketing, I practice pitching, I practice reading people. So just like sports, I mean, most people don't practice, they wing it. They finally got this meeting with this investor, or they show up in the room and then they mess it up. And had they just practiced, then they would have known. So it's like, if you don't practice all week and then show up at the big game and expect to win, that's not going to happen. So it's something we've never been taught. They don't teach you that in business schools or any school. I teach it, I do it. That's why I've been very successful.
Excellent. Any parting words you'd like to share with our audience of filmmakers going into one of the toughest businesses of raising high risk investment?
If you do it yourself, you have less than 1% chance. If you deal with people like Scott, who have been in for 20 years, who have the shortcut, there's no such thing as a self-made man or woman. And I'm going to tell you, in this industry of Hollywood, and I invested in it, and I know a lot of people, it's not what you know, it's not who you know, but it's who knows you. You knowing Scott is a gateway to getting to where you want to go. And that's the point. I mean, if you say, JT, get me in. Well, yeah, I can send the script to Charlie Sheen and Pacino, Stallone, Schwarzenegger, but it's not going to do anything because it goes to their people. And they're not the ones who make the decisions anyway. And they get pitched all the time, so they're desensitized. So Scott's got the keys to the connections you need. So you need to talk to people like him, not like me. I'm just a money guy that Scott then puts it in investor terms. I could say yes or no.
Thank you, JT. And I just got to say, you know, that $100 bill I gave you a few months ago was for motion picture purposes only, right? But thank you for the compliment. I appreciate that.
Spoken like a true Hollywood man.
Yeah. One last thing before we go. I have your signature on this tie, but I also have my signature. So if you know anyone that wants a JT Foxx tie, also signed by Scott DuPont for charity, any charity of your choice, let me know. We'll do something with it, because I know you have a big heart.
You know, after 8 hours of coaching, 11 interviews, 11 meetings, any joke you say won't be funny. But I like you. But any joke won't be funny. In fact, I miss my ties. I miss the suit. I'm dressed like I'm in because I'm wearing flip flops. That's how the world we live into, and now it's acceptable. You don't need to shave, shower. You know what? We may be in quarantine, but opportunities are not, deals are not, movies are not. Rest assured, when the floodgates open, you probably have a better chance. Probably the people are going to want more content, because all these subscribers are going to want to keep all those subscribers, and that's where your viewers come in. So,
JT, I cannot thank you enough for your time today. I greatly appreciate it.
And by the way, Kevin Hart just called me. He doesn't want to produce your movie. He was staring you in jokes. He says you're not funny. So that's from Kevin Hart. I just say movie denied. I'll tell
you a Kevin Hart story next time. But anyway, tune in next week for more info. Visit financeyourmovie.com. Thank you for listening. And remember, if you have a story to tell the world, never give up on your dream.